I was born in Newton, Mississippi on October 20, 1925. Spent my boyhood in Quitman, Mississippi, which was another small Mississippi town. My father was a Baptist minister. We had a great family. We had a great time. My father wanted me to be a college professor. My mother wanted me to be a surgeon, realizing that I didn't have any call into the ministry, which I had expressed, never felt one. Turned out to be a lawyer, as did my brother. And my father facetiously said, well, it could have been worse, but he couldn't think of anything worse.
I guess where he really got his start, he said he used to deliver eggs. And he was a teacher, then he was a lawyer, then a businessman, banker. He has done a lot of things and done all of them very, very well.
I don't consider that I've done anything spectacular at all. The only spectacular event in my life was when I married Elizabeth.
At Ole Miss, and a friend and I went in the grill to have breakfast, and she was a little more aggressive than I was. So here, a group of guys sitting in the booth, and she said, y'all move over and let us sit down. So I'm sitting across from him. Then he called me to go out, and I knew he'd been going with my roommate. So I just put my hand on the phone and said, is it okay to go with him? She said, oh yes, he'll take you to dinner. I said, okay, I'll go.
She was a very pretty girl, very attractive, wonderful personality, a loving spirit.
Well, the children looked up to him, and he always raised the bar a little bit.
It was a great, stable environment, you know, having him as he's always been kind of the rock, you know, the rock of the family. And when I was a little boy, a funny story that he likes to recant to me is I got into some mischief, obviously. I think I was pretty good at doing that. And he said, I'm going to have to give you a spanking. And he took me in the bathroom, and he said, son, what is it that you want Daddy to do? And I said, go to the office. And I found out later that he talked to my mother about it, and he came out of the bathroom laughing because he just could not go through with it at that point.
I have a little secret to tell on Willis. He'll kill me later. The secret is that when all of the family gets together, his family and Joe's family, we call him the Godfather. And we call him that because we can always depend on his advice. He is very good about giving us advice, and sometimes we even ask for it.
He told me one time when he was a young lawyer that one day a senior member of the firm came in and said, now, Willis, you know, in the morning when you're shaving, you're thinking about your client's business, and that's billable time.
When we're all together and say we're in Destin or somewhere, and we'll go out to dinner. And all the kids have kind of picked up on this, that we make sure that he sits at the head of the table. And we can almost guarantee that he's also a generous man because the Godfather always has to pick up the check.
I couldn't tell you enough nice things about him. But he is older than me.
He has a code of ethics that is probably above what most people set for themselves as a standard, and he just stays on course, you know. And I think being the son of a preacher man, you know, like the old song, son of a preacher man I am, that's, you know, that's the kind of person he was growing up, and I don't think he's changed that much. You
always know where Willis stands. And it would be the last thing that he would ever do to not do the right thing.
I think I admire my brother's integrity. I really do. I think that I think it would not occur to him to do anything that would not be the honorable thing to do, would not be the honest thing to do, would not be the ethical thing to do.
If you got a job you need done, you can't beat getting Willis Meadows to do it.
He wins all arguments, and he wins them in a way that allows his opponent to feel like that it was a joint decision. And he does that because he is so well prepared and he's so able to explain things that he's able to convince people to do things that they're happy about doing in the end. And it's a wonderful skill. But I've never seen him lose an argument yet, and I don't think he will.
I think he portrays a no-nonsense, all-business type of personality. But in truth, in fact, he's got a great sense of humor. As I said earlier, his smile will melt butter. He's just a really kind person. We would have elderly clients, and they would say to Willis, young man, I can't come downtown to execute my will. I'm afraid to come downtown. So Willis would get usually 2 other lawyers, and we would go out to the client's house. I've seen lawyers say, if you can't come down to the office, well then, you know, you'll have to get somebody else. But Willis wasn't that way. One of my sons was moving back to Shreveport to attend medical school. His wife was a young lawyer, and Willis advised her and about the different law firms and arranged for interviews, and actually personally took time out from his day to take her to the interviews that she had, which is something that is unusual. He always goes that extra mile. I guess the thing about Willis that has meant the most to me is working under him was probably the most instructive and productive aspect of my becoming a better lawyer. He was a role model.
He's the sort of guy that I viewed has it all put together. You know, he's an attractive fellow with a beautiful family. He's well educated. He's well spoken. He's a man of integrity, and just someone that I've admired for many, many years.
Maybe it's the drive of a Mississippi boy from a small town who wanted to get out, who wanted to go beyond those limitations, and who wanted to impress his parents, his family, and his wife in particular, that he could do it, could amount to something.
Beth said something about that she knew her dad had a lot of gifts, and that she thought the biggest gift that he had was that he was a peacemaker.
He's firm, but he's always fair and just, and he's got a soft heart. He's always had a soft heart.
It has been a great family. We're very close, and that it has been the happiest times of my life when I'm with the family. So I think the right emphasis on family relationships goes a long way to maximize your happiness, as well as to participate in things where you can feel creative and sense an occasional accomplishment that's satisfying. But at the end of the day, it's family time again.
That's the most important thing.
Absolutely. Most important thing.